A gun was pressed to the back of his neck right there in a cemetery, surrounded by grieving family. Cameras were rolling, children were screaming, and the man on the ground, a decorated black general, in full uniform, holding a folded flag for his fallen brother. He didn't resist, he didn't run, but still, the officer saw a threat. What happened next shook the nation and led to a courtroom, not a casket. This is the story of honor, crushed by hatred, and justice, that finally answered. Welcome story. Lovers, where are you watching from? Comment your city. Major David Turner had worn the uniform for 26 years, a decorated black general in the U.S. Army. He was known not just for his discipline but for leading with quiet strength. After retiring with honors, he returned home to Georgia seeking peace, not recognition. That day, he stood outside the gates of a small-town cemetery, dressed in full uniform, to bury his younger brother, a local pastor. Family, grief, pride, they all collided in his chest. But for David, this funeral wasn't just a goodbye. It was a deeply personal moment of honor. Unseen by him, a patrol car had pulled up across the street. Inside, a young white officer watched with suspicion. In a place where racism had long simmered under the surface, the sight of a black man, in military regalia, didn't represent service, it triggered something darker. The salute David was about to give would be interrupted by a gun. The service had just ended. As the family gathered around the grave, Major David Turner stepped forward, his chest tight with emotion. He raised his hand in a final salute to his brother. The folded flag trembled slightly in his grip. That's when the screech of tires broke the silence. Officer Carmichael jumped out of his cruiser, hand already on his weapon. "Step away from the casket," he barked, eyes locked on David. The mourners froze, confused, frightened. David slowly turned, still holding the flag. "Put it down," Blake shouted again, mistaking the folded triangle for something else. David spoke calmly, trying to diffuse the moment, but it didn't matter. Blake wasn't listening, he was reacting to the uniform, to the color of the man wearing it. He advanced fast, weapon unholstered. A sob from the crowd. A child clung to her mother. A second officer stepped out of the car but didn't intervene. David didn't move. Years of battlefield training kicked in. He knew that sudden motion could get him killed. But he also knew this was no battlefield. There were no rules here. Then, Blake screamed, "Get on the ground." The command echoed off tombstones. The silence after was even louder. David was seconds away from becoming another hashtag. And the man with the gun didn't care who he was, only what he looked like. But someone had seen everything. And they had it all on video. Blake cocked the gun, finger trembling on the trigger. Major Turner stood motionless, flag in hand, eyes steady, chest rising with deep, controlled breaths. Behind him, his mother sobbed into her scarf. Around him, phones rose like shields, capturing every second. But Blake didn't care. He lunged forward, slammed David to the ground, and pressed the barrel to the back of his neck. The crowd screamed. The flag hit the dirt. "Stop, he's a general. He's not a threat," someone yelled, but the truth had no power in that moment. All that mattered was Blake's regent, David's restraint. Then came the voice, "Backups, en route. Cameras are rolling. Let him go." Another officer, finally stepping in. And just like that, the moment shattered. Dear audience, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to give it a like, it really helps. Blake Carmichael was arrested days later, charged with assault, abuse of power, and a hate crime. The footage had gone viral. Millions watched in outrage as a decorated black general was brutalized at his own brother's funeral. Major Turner, though physically unharmed, carried emotional scars that ran deep. The cemetery had been a place of farewell, but it became a battlefield for dignity. David later testified before Congress, urging reform, not revenge. "I wore the uniform for all Americans," he said, "but not all Americans wear justice the same." This wasn't just one man's trauma, it was a reflection of a broken system, a system where skin color still threatens life, no matter the uniform. How many heroes have to bleed before justice wears the badge? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos.